It's only us, actually. There's no one welcome. Too welcome. That's okay. Is there anything you'd like to hear about tonight? Since there's only a few people, and Dan had an idea. We can talk about that. Okay. Please ask if you have anything, because it's useful. If you have something, then we can talk about that. Then you feel more motivated when you leave here. That's great. He's good. He's good.
So I asked Ricky a couple weeks ago, I said, we were going through the mantra, Om Ayom.
The one we do with the breathing?
Yeah. And I'm trying to balance that with the grasping, because it seems like I'm grasping the mantra.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you mean.
I mean, eventually you have to let it all go.
Yeah, I know just exactly.
But if you can address that maybe help me get through that a little bit, or understand it a little better.
Okay, we can talk about that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, let's get this party started. Welcome. It's nice to see you. Thank you for being here. And welcome to those online, which I think is only you right now. That's just one person. Oh, you don't see it as an option? I don't know where that would be. I don't know how that works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's okay. We made it. We're here together. Another week. Incredible. Time is passing. Allow yourself to just settle into this being here. We have this opportunity. We don't have any obligations other than just to be present. So just be present. Allow yourself to relax in your body, in your breathing, in your mind, just to be present. Welcome. Whenever you meditate, first thing is just settle down, because if you turn it into a thing like every other thing, then you don't get as much out of it. So just to come to now. Let go of whatever brought you here, what was just happening in the past. Don't project too much into the future. And in this moment, just relax. Relax your hand of grasping. Since we're live together, the main thing is to tune in to this space of openness. That's the case whether you're online with us or you're in the room. Totally open, completely present, no holding. For us right now, the whole of our experience is just this present moment. From this state of openness, allow a sense of happiness, a sense of joy to come up. If it comes up naturally without doing anything, great. Well, if you feel like, then percolate through, allow to arise some thoughts like, wow, I could be really busy right now, or I could be sick right now, or I could be super distracted by terrible things going on. Instead, I'm actually just present here to meditate. Wow. Allow that kind of gratitude to arise. And right in the middle of that gratitude, give rise to the thought, I am going to experience happiness, I'm going to experience presence, I'm going to experience peace, I'm going to experience moving forward on my spiritual path for the good of all beings, not just for myself. Our goal for tonight is to really put our foot in it. Be totally present in this moment, to really move ourselves forward. Something I learned from my teacher. He said at the beginning of every session of meditation, have the thought, I'm going to make progress during this session. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm not going to get bored. I'm going to move forward during this very session. So allow that to arise in your mind. It's really true. We don't know how much time we have. This could be our last chance to meditate. So we want to make sure that we make the most of it. And again, the most important thing is to tune into this. I don't want to be too woo-woo, too new agey about it, but there's like a field created by meditators, and it's transmissible through the internet, of course. Just tune into that. What is it? It's a state of just being totally present, but completely relaxed. Not trying to hold any object in mind, not trying to keep away any bad thoughts or whatever. Just being totally open, like the sky, like space. Let's expel the stale breath. Put your hands like this. Thumbs at the base of your ring fingers. Hands closed. Arms straight and hands on your knees. Right arm goes out to the side. Block off the right nostril. Breathe in. Hold your breath. Hand down. Left. Out. In. Hand down. Right arm back out. Right out. Both hands down. In. Out. It's good to do first thing in the morning, and it's excellent to do when you start your session. Every time you start a session, clearing out the stale breath is very good to do. It brings you right into the present. Because in the present, we get a choice, right? We get a choice. Am I going to do what I always do, which is grasp onto things I like and try to hold on to them, try to get rid of other things, get caught up in thoughts, allow my attention to go out and land on objects. And then I have to trace the outline of those objects. If they're nice, it feels good. You want more. If it's not nice, you want to stop it. It don't feel good. Everything else you ignore. Will you eliminate that person? When we do this breathing exercise, we can imagine that all of our thoughts and emotions, all the stuff we're caught up in, can just be expelled and disappear. It just goes out. You can imagine it going out as like black smoke or gray smoke and just dissolving into space far away and leaving you completely clear, completely clean, open. Yeah, eliminate that person, please. Normally, we're so caught up in our thought processes, cannot do anything right now. We're responding to the past. The past is coming, things are happening, and then we're just trying to think like, what was I supposed to do? And we're just not even present. Meditation has to be just right now. Now, when we do it, we don't want to try to hold right now. We just want to come to the present and then totally relax. Thank you. When you do that, that sense of freedom, of openness, of letting go, it has a subtle but pervasive sense of like happiness, release, spaciousness. This is what we want to become familiar with. It's not an object, so we're not meditating on it, nor are we trying to cause it. We're just experiencing that as it arises, this moment. Because it's so subtle, we can't prolong it. We just want to acknowledge it as present wakefulness. And it's just like when you ring a bell, it goes by itself a little bit, ding, and it fades out. Just like that, when we meditate, there's the initial noticing or acknowledging, and it goes on for a little while, and then here come thoughts, and at first they don't matter. Here they come, they bubble up. You just think, oh, I'm cool with that. And then one thought's kind of interesting, and you grab onto it, and you're in your normal state of mind. So when that happens, you notice, and then again, letting go. Let's do the breath clearing one more time. This time, when you breathe out, really expel all of your everything, and then we will just remain present. Ready? Right on. Good. Feel how long that goes. Sometimes it goes long, sometimes it doesn't go long. It doesn't matter how long, as long as it's unperverted by attempts to hold it or do something with it. We want it to be clear, we want it to be fresh, we want it to be present awareness without any kind of like messing with it. Tibetan they say Sale, Senge, Hrige, Jenewa, Yerewa, Walewa, Zangtalewa. There's all these experiential words for this kind of super clear openness that we can only touch right now. Totally free. In order to, I hate to say this, stabilize this state of openness, become super familiar with it or whatever, we have to recognize that our normal way of being is going out into the world, grabbing onto objects or tracing their outline. The Tibetan word for thinking is namtak. Namtak really means to trace the outline. So I look over, I see Dan, Dan's my friend, and I trace the outline of Dan, and I think, oh, I like Dan, I wonder how Dan's doing, and what's he up to? And I like Dan, so I've got like a little grasping there, right? If I see something I don't like, I do the opposite, right? The problem is this outward facingness. We talked about this last week. It's like your hand. When your hand is going out, it can only grab, and we're super used to that. We all are so used to it. When we see something, we just hold on to it, and we determine whether we like it or not. Right? This process of first we arise over here as the noticer, and then the thing noticed, whether it's a water bottle or the sun or whatever, that's the first step away. Away from this state of freedom. We're kind of dominated by that thing. Our awareness collapses around that one object. I'm looking at a water bottle right now. And then the next step is conceptual, what's called conceptual ignorance. We assess it. We name it. I call it water bottle. First I say it's over there. Then it's water bottle. Then I say I kind of like it or I kind of don't like it, whatever. And then I start to get involved with it. Meanwhile, my attention is totally collapsed. That just happens because we're going out. Our attention's going outward. It's landing on objects. And then you can't do anything. You're like a blind person. When you touch something, of course you feel it to see what the outline is like, see whether it's safe or not, whatever. Right? Read the braille of it. So in meditation, what we're doing is we're turning this way. When you turn this way, the grasper can't grasp, right? Because you can only go this way. There's nothing to grab. You can't do it. And that cuts the grasping. Right in that moment, you have to just let go. There's a saying in Tibetan describing this. They say that the mind of a Buddha, of an enlightened person, is wide open like the sky. It can hold anything. Well, the mind of an ordinary person, an ordinary sentient being, is like a pinprick through a leather bag. So narrow. We have all these opinions, we have all these things we have to uphold, we have all these memories we have to deal with. It's just our minds are like this big. So when you're meditating, expand your mind. Don't try to get rid of thoughts. Your mind is a thought-making machine. It is thoughts. Here come all the thoughts. That's cool. Don't do anything about them. You don't have to suppress them. You don't have to shoot them down. You don't have to figure out what they're like. You don't have to label them. You don't have to do anything. Be like the space above the park. Above the park in the summer, at least in Denver, there are many swallows, right? Swallows, those little birds. And they dive bomb, they do all these tricks. They're very cool. I like swallows. Eat the bugs. The sky is not cramped up by the swallow's presence. It can hold as many swallows as want to come to that park. I think it was on Monday, Memorial Day. We went for a little picnic at this. It's like a bird. It's like a little park, but it's like a little bird sanctuary. They built these posts, and there are all these cormorants, those blackbirds, in the middle of this little lake on this little island. There's dozens of them, and there's all this kind of wildlife there. It's like a nice place, just right here in town. And we went over there. We went for a walk, and I don't know why. It was probably being in nature is good. Meditators should try to meditate outside some of the time because it's so much easier because the sky is there. It's like less compacted. We're always living in these boxes. Being out there, my mind was feeling so open and it was so full. This emptiness that we are is full. So there's this kind of like two things at once going on. There's the emptiness of our own awareness that can hold everything, but it's got all this stuff going on in the park. I couldn't believe it. We saw so many animals. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. There were these huge carp. There were other fish. There were many snakes. I didn't expect it, but lots of little snakes, little garter snakes. All these birds and just so much stuff going on. Totally open. Ugh. People, don't you have anything better to do? Sad. So sad. I'd be embarrassed to be you. Sorry. But it's actually interesting because we're having like some negative comments or whatever. This is exactly what the world does when you want to be a meditator. It kind of pushes back. Things, our habitual tendencies are very strong. And, even if we just develop them in this life, we've had a lot of time to practice them. And according to the Dharma, we've had millions of lifetimes to habituate ourselves to this same way of doing things. And when we try to turn our attention this way, so to speak, so that the grasper is deactivated, there's a kind of pushback from the universe, and you have to go through this. This is important to know, because I know you know about what I'm talking about, especially if we're not in a super supportive environment, like our family's not into it, or our friends are not super into it, or even we're not super into it, then it takes some time. So be super easy and soft with yourself. The practice is only turning your attention from going out to looking this way and letting go. That's all there is. It's extremely simple. Someone posted something, I don't know, on YouTube or whatever, and it was of my teacher, Tolka Warjner Rinpoche, and somebody sent it to our little group, one of our WhatsApp groups, and I read it, and it was just a little statement from some book by Tolka Warjner, and he said, there's only one practice, there's only one Dharma, there's only one Buddhism. There's only one goal. It was something like that. And it's only about this. Don't make it too complicated. We call it freedom, we call it meditation, we call it Buddhism, whatever you want to call it. It is a short road. It's 180 degrees. From being out all the time, like we always have, to not being out, to being free. So you have to recognize that when you start this, you're going to get some pushback. Just like we have this live thing and people are bored, they write crazy comments. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you guys. Right? But our whole life is like that. There's a kind of automatic pushing us into alignment. And that alignment is only about what we call samsara. It's not about your personal freedom. It's not about happiness. It's about being driven onto a little narrow lane where your mind is small. Just like I said, like a pinprick through a leather bag. So many opinions, so many plans, so many things from the past you have to deal with, all this stuff, so many hopes and fears of the future. It's complicated to be alive. But now we have the key. Now we have the answer, so to speak. It's so simple. Now, I've been doing this a lot, but we haven't really talked about it, so let's talk about it just to remind everyone. Most of you probably know this already. Put your finger like this and just pick an object, any object. I'm picking the foot of this thingamajig. And notice that what you're pointing at and what you're pointing with are both things. Here we define a thing as something that has an outline. It has a color, it has a shape, it's over there, right? I have my finger right here, it's got a color, it's got a shape, it's pointing at another object. That object, we know it's a thing because it's got a color, shape, whatever. Now notice the interesting thing is that all things have a couple things in common. Pick something totally different. And now I'm pointing at a water bottle. This thing I was pointing at was a black cap, it was rubber. Now I'm pointing at a metal bottle, it's green. But notice, it still has an outline, still has a color, still has a shape, and it's still over there. Now point at your own body, like I point at my knee. My knee also happens to be covered in some green pants. It's got a different outline, it's got a different shape, it's got a different texture. It's got a different color than either the water bottle or the cap on the holder. But notice, it's still a thing. It's the same in the sense that it's over there and it's got all those characteristics. So here we could say that a thing has characteristics. Shape and color and texture if you touch it. And its main characteristic is it's over there. Over there-ness. You could even point at another person, like I point at Lydia, I point at Dan, and I notice that they're over there also. They're much more complex objects, right? They have different colors that move around, not like a water bottle, but they're still things from my perspective. Now, take your finger like this and point it this way. Notice your finger. Your finger's a thing, same as other things. Mine's flesh-colored and it's over there and it's pointy. But what is it pointing at? Cast your gaze this way. When you turn your attention this way, what do you see? I don't see anything over here. That not seeing anything, that is the you that you're always trying to please. Does it have a color? No. Does it have a shape? No. Does it have a texture if I was to feel it? No, those things don't even apply. It only has two characteristics. It's over here and it's awake. Those are the hallmarks of the real you, so to speak. I know in Buddhism we don't have a self, but we have a kind of like a placeholder for self, so to speak. So when you forget what you're doing and you're meditating, you're trying to concentrate or be open or not have thoughts or whatever you think you might be doing, be space, it's so easy. You just think, objects are over there. What's over here? When I look over here, I don't see anything. And then right in the middle of that, let go. You're not trying to peer too deeply into this. You're just looking and noticing it's infinitely deep. It's infinitely free of all those characteristics. Do it like this. Put your fingers like this. Wiggle your fingers. Oh, God. Wow, you must be so lame. And move your fingers, well, you see them here. Move them back till they just disappear. Where do they actually go? For you, from your perspective. They don't go anywhere. That's exactly it. Notice that place, that space. And in the same way, if you put your fingers back here and you wiggle them where you can't see them and you move them out, that's like everything. The whole world comes out of this emptiness continuously. All your thoughts, all your memories, all your plans, all your ideas, all your BS. It comes pouring out of there. And because of our habits, we follow it out and get caught up in it. And then we only exist in relation to that, right? And this is like not a state of freedom. It's a state of being dominated by whatever our experience is. So when that's the case, the only thing you can do is try to change the circumstances. That makes sense? Rearrange your desk, so to speak. And that's very hard to do in this world. You end up spending so much time. And what do you get for it? Almost nothing. You got a lot of work tonight. Sorry about that. I got Lydia on dingleberry duty over there. Flick the dingleberries off this side. Now you know, right? But you have to train in it because it doesn't feel like anything. It just feels like a gap or this can't mean anything, but it actually is quite special. This, when you look this way, that's the only thing in the world, so to speak, that's over here. Notice everything in your experience is over there. My picture, the wall, my voice, your own thoughts. If I say, like, what did you have for breakfast? Your breakfast comes up to your mind. It pops up in your mind. It's over there. It's in your own private Idaho of your mind space. Other people can't see it. But it's still over there from your perspective. So the question is, what's over here? Who's over here? And as you turn more and more frequently, more and more deeply in a state of openness and relaxation over this way, you don't find anything. And that not finding is like amazing. They say, the third Karmapa, he said, not finding anything is the supreme discovery. This is not dominated by the circumstances of the world. Now, just like your fingers can come out of here, and your thoughts can come out of here, and your memories can come out of here, in the same way, if we're meditating like on the Vajra recitation, like we did a few weeks ago, which in brief, so easy. When you breathe in Om. So mentally recite Om as you breathe in. And during that period when you hold your breath just for one moment, you repeat Ah. And then when you breathe out with Om. Let's try it a little bit. You breathe in Om. Hold for a second. Ah. Breathe out. Om. It's called the Vajra recitation. Let's do it for a little bit. At your own pace. Don't try to control your breathing. Just follow your breathing with Om Aham. You're kind of blessing your breathing with Om Aham. When you do that, it's good to do 21 breaths is like the minimum that you can get really into it and get some real benefit. But you don't necessarily have to count, right? So just think around that number of breaths. Then you really feel like it, first of all, it settles your mind a lot. You become very present. And you can intersperse this with recognition of your essence. At first, we can't do both at the same time. It's not possible in the beginning. But if you practice a little bit, then it's also possible for the Om Hum, connected with your breath, to flow out just like your fingers coming out as the natural outflow of awareness. But that takes some training. So for the beginning, you're just doing it like consciously, on purpose. You're not doing anything else. Very lightly, Om on the in-breath. Hold your breath 1 second during the hold, and then on the way out. That does, someone here was asking beforehand about this practice and how does it relate to this practice? In the beginning, they are kind of different. They're kind of not different, but you have to have some conceptual focus to do it until you get habituated. But after a while, if you do it a lot, then it happens without having to try. And at that point, you can also rest in this state of openness. Well, it happens naturally. But of course, that takes some training because our minds are so busy, right? And they're going everywhere every second. So we have to kind of focus a little bit. But it's just like holding something for a while, holding your attention on something. Of course, you wander off, but after a while, you settle down to it. In the same way, as soon as that happens, you can look this way and it can continue. And if you're into this, if you're doing a lot of this Vajrastation, as it's called, in the middle of it, you can just stop doing it for a little bit and look toward it. Since it does bless your continuum, Om Hum, are the body, speech, and mind of all the Buddhas, they say, then this recognition will be naturally a little bit stronger, a little deeper, a little easier to maintain. And when you start to fall out of it, then you can again pick up Om Hum. Very lightly. I heard a story. When I met Tulku, the first time I met him, he was sitting on his bed at a place called Parping in Nepal. And it's a long, funny story. But I went in there and he was saying mantras. He had this yellow mala, like a string of beads, and he was saying mantras and he was just sitting there. He wasn't doing any kind of weird anything. He was just being chill, saying mantras. And whenever I saw him, he was always saying mantras. Tibetan Lamas, they love to say mantras. It blesses the environment. It pacifies your mind. It's good for the people around you. Mantras are very powerful. We talked about Om Mani Padme Hum last week. Someone came to see him. I heard this story. I wasn't present. Someone came to see him, and they had it in their head that if you know about the recognition, then you shouldn't do anything. You should just sit like. And they saw him reciting his mantra, and they said, what's the story? Why are you doing that? Why aren't you just sitting there still? He said, well, when I recognize the essence, my mouth is not busy. I can say the mantra along with it, because we live in the world, right? So there's some value in doing things like reciting mantras, doing the Vajrastation. We can carry those things into our lives. Well, if we only train by not doing anything, then that's harder to do when you're driving your car or cooking dinner or something like that. At least at first, it seems like it should be harder to do. eventually you realize that there's nothing can hamper this. Nothing can stop this. Anything can come out of this. All kinds of creativity. But right now, we're so dominated by our habits that when they come out, when we're not actually resting in the view of openness, and thoughts start to come, then they just are ordinary thoughts, and we're back to being completely ordinary people. Totally dominated by lust, anger, and delusion, the three poisons. We don't even know it, right? We're just completely submerged in continual thought activity. So you have to train a little bit both things, right? You have to train in something that you don't do anything else, where your body is straight, you're relaxed, you look this way and let be, and you just have enough paying attentionness, enough mindfulness, Drenpa, to notice when you are distracted. And again, recognize, let be. It's similar to learning to balance something, like if you want to balance a broomstick on your finger. At first you don't understand, you put the broomstick on there, the thing starts to fall, and it just falls. You can't do anything, right? But then you realize, if it falls this way and I move that way, I can catch it, and I have some control, and then you master it. Same thing here. You let be, and you notice, here come some thoughts. No problem. But then the attractive thoughts come, the ones that are sticky, and you fall out. You have to have enough mindfulness, enough awareness to notice when you get distracted. And when you first start this process, you realize you are distracted all the time, 24 hours a day. Many people, myself included, not so much these days, but for many years, even when we wake up out of thinking, we're already thinking about the day right when we wake up. What a terrible circumstances to be in, right? We have to take control of that. Things like the Vajra recitation or reciting Om Mani Padme Hum, they're very powerful, and they can help us get some control over our wandering minds. Because our minds are wandering, and they're wandering just like they have for a million times, which is usually not to our advantage. Keep it super simple. Going out, you fall into your old patterns, liking, wanting, disliking, hating, and then ignoring everything else. Very small-minded attitude. Tiny little opening. When you look this way, you're like the sky. Totally open, free. Autonomous. Right? You're not dominated by circumstances to the same degree. It also takes some practice. We're very fractured beings. We are very complex beings with many levels and all kinds of, normally we think we either have thoughts or we don't have thoughts. It's not like that, right? We have conscious thoughts and we have all these subconscious thoughts. And it's the subconscious thoughts, the ones that we're not really aware of, that really drive us. Your awareness, as you practice more and more, becomes what is now subconscious becomes conscious. And that your awareness gets more sophisticated, you get more open, you're more relaxed, and you realize, wow, I'm thinking all the time. I'm wandering out even when I think I'm not. That's why we got to keep it short. Short moments, many times repeated. Not long periods of trying to hold some kind of openness. Look this way. Notice what's over here. The only thing in the universe that's over here. Your true nature, or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have any characteristics. It's not stained. It's not stained by all that stuff that happened to you in the past, all those bad decisions or things that were out of your control or whatever, circumstances. It's completely free. And so long as you abide with it or notice it or allow it, you're also free. When you forget that, you automatically go out and assess the world, and you're dominated by so much habit. You don't even know it. So it takes a little courage, right? You have to have two things on the spiritual path: faith and courage, right? You have to have the faith that you're going down a road that has been gone down before. This is the road of all the Buddhas. This is a way to enlightenment. And you also have to have the courage to do it, because, like when the tide goes out, what looks just like the ocean, the tide goes out, it leaves lots of stuff. Some of the stuff maybe not pleasant, maybe jellyfish bodies, or, I don't know, hermit crab shells, or whatever. I don't see hermit crabs as much as you do. When I was a kid, they were like everywhere in South Carolina. Are they still down there? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you know?
They're in Costa Rica, I know that.
Costa Rica. I moved to Costa Rica. Wow. Now we know, baby. Everybody, including the hermit crabs, are moving to Costa Rica. When that tide goes out, because you become more sharp, more awake, then things might be beached that you might be made uncomfortable by, right? We all have past. We all have stuff. That's okay. Be space for it. Be spacious. This space can hold anything, any experience, any memory, any thought. Someone asked a question before we started about manifestation. I give you what I know. I'm not very good at manifesting things, so I know the technique. Some people it really depends a lot on karma, right? The more merit you have, the more good karma, so to speak, the easier it is to get what you want in this world. That's just how it is. As you meditate more, you create both merit and wisdom. The process of doing this, of just wanting to do it, is tremendously meritorious and powerful. So it may take some time for these techniques to bring about your wishes, but I can teach it to you, and then you can see, right? You've heard me say this before. So simple. So simple. You need to have two things. You need to have the thought of what it is that you want. I want a new job. I want to be extremely good at sports. I want to meet a partner I can spend my life with. I want to be a better cook. Whatever your thing is. I want to go to Costa Rica. If you're right or not, I've never been to Costa Rica. Guatemala, though, that's pretty cool. Except you always feel like you're going to get shot, which is not so good. At least I did. Whatever that thing is, the more you can give rise to it as a single thought, the easier it is to get it, right? If it's just a vague idea, I want to be nicer, this is kind of like hard to, it doesn't have as much grip to it, you know what I mean? So if you can boil it down to whatever the actual thing that you're looking for is, I want a raise at work, whatever. And if you can do it out of a state of when your mind is pretty open and relaxed, then it works better too. But the two parts are, you have to give rise to that thought. I want to go from working the night shift to working the day shift. I want a day shift to open up, and I want to be chosen for it. That's your thought. You think that, and then totally let go. The way to let go, turn toward, look this way. And that grasping is cut off. And that arrow of your intention is let go too. Just like when you shoot an arrow, right? You pull the arrow back, but to let the arrow go, you have to let go. I found this to be very powerful. And of course, if you want to hit the target, or let's say we use a war idea, if you want to kill the enemy, you might have to shoot more than one arrow, right? Unless you're like freaking Robin Hood, right? You're going to have to shoot a bunch of arrows that way. Not all of them are going to hit the target. So you can do several times in one session. You can punctuate your meditation with this. The best time to make this kind of aspiration is at the end of your practice, when your mind is very clear, you've settled down, right? Your winds have settled down. And your mind's pretty clear. Give rise to the thought, I want to shoot a golf game in the 50s. Whatever, I don't know if that's even good. Is that good? Okay, yeah. 50, I'm probably on the tour, whatever tour that is. Can you imagine Joe's now a golfer? I'd have to really be good at that because I cannot play golf, never played golf. You want to shoot 18 holes in the 50s. You give rise to that intention and then let go. Very lightly. It's easier and better if you do it lightly because most of our goals, whatever they happen to be, are incredibly, they're very limited. You can use this technique and it will work to some degree. Maybe it'll work great. Some people, it depends on how, I don't think you can create it out of nowhere, but what you can do is you can increase the likelihood. All these magical things, whether it's meditation or straight up ritual magic kind of stuff, making things absolutely happen, that's very hard. But increasing the likelihood that they will happen is more, it can be done. You understand what I mean? And the goal is not to be constantly thinking, listen, I shouldn't fit. That's just thinking, right? It's to really draw that arrow back. I'm going to shoot 18 holes in the 50s, and then there are many techniques for this, like sigil magic and many different things. Some work, some don't. I've never gotten so into it. I've found that the more I meditate, the more my life unfolds okay. I don't need to put too much pressure on the world to give me what I want. I've just found. That seems to be how things have unfolded in my life. And it's not that I guess in some ways I don't care as much. I'm not as black and white about it. I don't know what the future holds. I'm willing to be open. And I've also found that the more I train in this, the more the past and the future, they really don't exist, like we talked about before the fourth time. That's a real thing. You can exit, to some degree, the stream of time. And then there is no time in which this future will occur. It's weird. I don't know. I'm just speaking from my own experience. These days, most of my aspirations are like, may all beings find peace. That's what I'm doing with my aspirations. And less like, may such and such occur. May I go back to Bhutan or something. I just haven't been so much doing that. I find that just my own experience with this is that the world is infinitely creative. And it can create things that you would never expect. Much more interesting and much more delightful than you could possibly imagine. So I might be actually limiting myself by saying, like, I want this. I don't know. So you have to explore, right? Let's say you're taking a college class, or you're taking some kind of you have to get your license for something or whatever. Now you want to pass those classes, so this would be a good opportunity to use this technique, right? Because you don't want to not pass. That would probably not be good. But even that is kind of like assuming you know what's best, in a sense, you know? And I'm not sure how much we know what's best, or at least I can't speak for anyone else. Maybe other people do know what's best, but I don't seem to know what's best. I found that the more I let go, the less my past is driving me. I still have stuff there, of course, and I can still remember those things, but even the things that used to really bug me don't bug me quite as much. And I think because they bug me a little bit less, that means that if I do this more, they'll bug me a lot less. Maybe they won't bug me at all. And the future, I have my fears about the future. I have my hopes and stuff, but I have a generally kind of open attitude toward it. And that, all those things, all those thoughts, and all those plans, and they are nothing more than thoughts. They only apply when I'm not letting be. The more I train in letting be, and the more the world's not so sticky. And I don't have to drive it as hard. And that's been much more freeing than getting what I want, so to speak. Of course, it's nice to get what you want. Right? What did Mel Brooks say? It's good to be the king, right? Sometimes you want stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. And so you can try this technique. I find it to be effective. But for most of us, the world we live in requires so much good karma just to support our world. To be able to have cars that work and showers that are hot whenever we want, and be able to turn the air conditioning or the heat on, and be able to live in a place where we're not getting attacked all the time or whatever. That takes so much merit that you have to do a lot of practice to get it to go up a whole bunch. I'm not saying it's not possible, but our general world requires so much good karma just to support this life of what you have to say is like complete luxury, ridiculous luxury. It makes me think, I was sitting in this room, this is like a small yoga studio, but it's quite large. And there's only a few people here, it's like very spacious. And we have it all to ourselves, totally quiet. Almost nobody's even driving by. It's like the perfect temperature. It's like so nice, you know? It makes me think, when I was a kid, I saw an old episode of Star Trek, the original Star Trek, and they went to this planet. You might remember this one. And it was super crowded. And everywhere there were people, everywhere. Do you know that one? I don't know anything. I can't remember anything else about it, what they did about it or anything. But even to have so much just space in our lives, just physical space. You know, Lydia and I have been doing a lot of yard work. And we have this gigantic, I mean, for me, it like seems incredibly large. It's been working on it. We have this huge yard. It's not that big, but it feels awful big enough to have big piles of stones that we had delivered and all these plants and all this stuff. And we just have so much space and so much kind of leisure in our lives generally that to really drive it in another direction, you have to create a tremendous amount of merit to do that. It's not so easy. I've personally found it's easier to be quiet, to let go. And in that moment of letting go, the past really is gone. The future seems imaginary. When is it going to happen? And in this moment, even the now just seems to dissolve in a state of like, can't say anything about it. Because to say something about it, to judge it, I have to arise. And in this state of openness, I haven't yet arisen as a person with a plan. And that was the second Batman movie of this most recent series of Batman movies with the Joker in there. It was a good movie, I thought. Scary. When he goes to the hospital and that one guy's had that accident and he says something like, "What's your plan?" He goes, "Do I look like a guy with a plan?" I just do things. I gotta feel like that guy a little bit. And get in the stream of this. And this is a blessed way to live. Open. Not dominated by fear. Not, we say the future is made out of hope and fear. It's true, but the fear part's a lot more strong than the hope part. Even if you got a lot of gumption behind your hopes. We have a lot to lose in our world, right? So just like to make something happen, we put it in our mind and then we let go. In a sense, I'm not advising anyone to do anything, but I'm just saying for myself, you don't even have to make a plan. You can just let go. It's okay. You can just practice letting go. It's okay. And the more you let go, the more free you are. And the more free you are, the less injured you can be, so you don't have your dukes up as much in the world. And the more you have your dukes down, the more the world is kind of on your side a little bit. Take some faith. This practice builds faith because you realize you are unstained. Primordially, you're not becoming unstained by doing Vajrasattva or whatever. You are always unstained. It's amazing, kind of. That makes you feel very soft inside. We often say, like, this is a sense of peace, a way of training in freedom. But if you think, peace is not the opposite of struggle. It's its own thing. It's its own thing. And we notice it as like a break from strife because our lives are full of strife. But I've found that the more deep you go into this state of openness and freedom, and the more peace you experience, the more that peace is not an empty piece of just like not trouble. It's its own thing, and it has its own kind of special feeling, blissfulness, mystery, possibility. Well, I don't know exactly what you call it. It's enough. It feels full. And then you're less motivated to go out. You break down that tendency because you're so complete. That's what it is, right? The great perfection, the great completion. So Chen means fullness, wholeness. That's what we want, right? That's why we're going to all those therapists. Go to the therapist, you think, I'm going to make myself whole, I'm going to get fixed, but you realize some part of you, the real you, so to speak, naked you, is already whole, already complete, already total. It's amazing. It's the moment right before things happen. Right back here, right at the edge. Good. You can feel it. And the more you feel it, the more you want to feel it. But it's not something you have to make. You just have to acknowledge it. Good. I can't see you guys online, but the people here in the room are doing great. It's cool, you know? Tim's got a shirt on that says flight operations. We're operating our own flights right now. All right? We can be down on the ground like ants. Ants live in a colony and they have a job and they have to follow the pheromone path and they have to get the giant bug and bring it back. Or we can not do that. We can fly above that. And that's our choice. Once you know about this, you get the choice. You're at the you're in the cockpit, right? You got your hands on the what do you call that thing?
Yoke.
On the yoke. See? It's good to have pilots around. Yoke. Hands on the yoke, right? And that's a nice place to be. Right? So pull it back. You can pull it back when you want to go up, right? Yeah, so pull it back, go up. The sky is infinitely big, right? What does it say? Again, Star Trek? Space, the final frontier. Right? We've explored the world. Right? We've explored the world, and it's cool. The world's beautiful. But it's also very limiting. This, unlimited. A little scary, but that's okay. It's nice to be a little scared. Right? It's nice to have a little possibility there. Kind of like when you're in school and your teacher was looking to someone to call on for something, but you knew the answer. So if they call on you, it's okay. Right? Kind of like that. Possibility. Right now we can't maintain it, but we can always return to it. Again and again. Look toward, let be. And you're already there. You're already out of samsara, so to speak. Tulku, my teacher, he always used to say, now when you know this, then every moment there's a crossroads. You can do what you always did, or you have a new path you can take. That makes today unlike any other day in your life. In fact, in a sense, everything has led up to this moment. Amazing. What tremendous possibility we have. Before we were kind of sleepwalking. Right? We thought we were awake, but we really weren't. We were dominated by our habits. Now we have a chance to put our head above water, to wake up a little bit. When I was a kid, my sister, I have a younger sister, she's about 8 years younger than me. She went through this phase where she would actually sleepwalk. Have you ever seen anyone sleepwalking? Weird. That's really weird. And one time, we had our little family room in the basement of this little house that we lived in Ohio. And I heard something. I think I was I was at home. My sister was in bed, or I thought she was in bed. And then I heard something, and I went to the bottom of the stairs, looked up, and she was standing on the top of the stairs, like a funny look in her face. Are you okay? And she was like, she was totally asleep, completely out. I went up there and said, now we're going to go back this way, back to bed. I don't think she came out of it. She probably thought she was awake in a sense, just like we think we're awake. We're not actually awake. We're just completely dominated by what we're supposed to do, what we always have done, what they expect. There's no choice there. There's no freedom. All right? Now we have a chance. Any moment, we can go right here. It's this close. It's right here. And then all bets are off. Anything can happen. That's amazing. That's wonderful. So practice this. Train in this. The more you train, the easier it gets. The easier it gets, the more you want to do it. And the more free you get. It's good for you. It's good for everyone around you. It's amazing. Right? Free you from all your bad habits. Wonderful. All in one stroke. Just remember, when you finish your official sessions of doing this, which you're now doing every day, I know, dedicate the merit. Because otherwise, by the time you get up, by the time you stand up, it's gone. You don't even remember what it was like because you're already back in your mindset that you have to get this done and not do that and call that person and all that stuff. All right? If you dedicate the merit, you put a coin in your karmic piggy bank and it gets easier. Do you want this prayer or do you know it?
No.
You know it? You know it too. We're going to dedicate the merit. If you're at home and you don't know the one we do, it doesn't matter. You put your hands like this and you think, may all beings enjoy freedom. May they be free. Whatever goodness I've created here, may everyone share in it. But first, let's just sit here just a second and bask in it one more time before we have to go back to our lives. Ah, ah. By this merit may all attain omniscience, having defeated the enemy wrongdoing, from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of samsara may I free all beings. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for being here. That's so good. Don't forget, just keep training little by little. It's so easy. And we will see you next week, perhaps. Be well, everyone. Don't give up. Oh, no one cares. So no.